Hi, this is James Watson, and I'd like to walk you through Doculabs' interactive analysis tool for understanding the potential savings of using electronic forms capabilities to improve everyday transaction processing. Doculabs' methodology for developing business cases is built on three components. First, embedding industry metrics that we've aggregated from clients over the past years. Second, the ability to dynamically change the variables to mimic a particular client's operating environment. And third, the ability to visually represent the net impact quickly for an executive audience. To start, let me briefly walk you through the layout of the dashboard. Across the top are single year, current and future costs, net savings, and on the far right, the investment required. These will automatically change based on the number of inputs that we make. Below is the graphic showing current and future costs by category. I'll drill down into these a little bit more deeply. And then finally on the left are the sliders that we'll make changes to help a client understand their particular use case. So let's walk through a scenario. First, where we've got an investment management firm that receives a variety of paper forms to facilitate critical processes such as account opening, money movement, wires, transfers, and customer servicing, such as change of beneficiary or change of address. In the current state, the firm receives about 1 million items, work items per year, packages in the USPS mail, faxes, and email. Everything is scanned, indexed, and moved downstream to the operations teams in the business for completion. At the macro level, we'll see that the firm spends approximately $36 million a year on processing these paper-based transactions. When we increase the adoption of electronic forms from 0 to just 25% of the overall volume, you can see that pretty quickly the savings begin to accrue, in this case, about $7.2 million. In addition, typically electronic forms reduce the number of NIGOs, or not in good order items. Here, if we take the future NIGO rate from 33% down to 20%, we see that we've got an additional $2-3 million of savings. So let's look at some of the underlying assumptions. First, we've got the cost factors such as NIGOs, phone calls that come in because people don't understand the forms or they're asking about status, prep and indexing costs, as well as the operation costs for doing the data entry downstream. Here you'll see we've used benchmark data to set the variables such as cost per NIGO of $33 or cost per call of $20. Any of these can be adjusted to reflect a particular client scenario, say moving it up to $50 a NIGO or whatever the case may be. Next, let's look at the investments that are required. We don't get the benefits for free. In this case, perhaps we'll have $500,000 in software costs from a SaaS vendor. You'll need to pay Doculabs $250,000 to help with the project and the initiative. We've got approximately 500 forms that are in scope. This is important because I'm going to talk about forms rationalization and what that means in a few minutes. And then, you'll need to know the average number of hours to convert a form into an electronic form, say 40, and then the hourly cost, perhaps $50 an hour for a third-party vendor. In this case, we've got roughly a $1.7 million investment and a cost per form of about $2,000. That's fairly typical of what we see out there. Last, I'd like to highlight this forms maintenance and support section. As I said, we've got 500 forms, and right now the dialog box is set for 500 change requests a year. So that means for each form would have at least one change per year, perhaps to change the date. But more importantly is this opportunity to rationalize the forms. In this case, maybe we're going to use form components and eliminate forms entirely. And we could rationalize that 500 down to perhaps just 250. Overall, it's important that for the scenario I've just described, 1 million work items a year, 25% adoption of e-forms, reducing NIGOs from 33% to 20%, results in approximately a $10 million savings on a $1.8 million investment. For most of our clients, this high-level analysis would warrant a more thorough business case, but certainly put eForms on the list of potential projects for the coming quarters.